Aloha beloveds, this is Alexandra Mathews coming to you for our first video in the Remembrance series, Awaken the Master Within. So this week we're going to be talking about it is a free will or free won't universe. You are not a slave. So the reminder, the transmission that is coming through today is simply to remind ourselves that we absolutely have free will to create the life of our dreams. Why is this important? This is important because so many of us, myself included, can get caught up in feeling and relating to life as though it's a burden, as though the things that I need to do are a burden or an obligation, and I can lose sight of the blessing and the opportunity and that I actually chose all of this. We may not feel like we chose all of this, but it's just, again, all a matter of what is the story that we want to tell ourselves. At the end of the day, I can't know what's true, but we can choose the story that we tell ourselves that can make us feel one way or another. And I inspire us in this moment to tell a story that inspires us, that we chose to be here, that we chose to come to this planet, that we have a specific mission, and that everything that we do in our lives, we are really present, that we are choosing actively to do. And not feeling that, waking up in the morning, feeling that heaviness of having to do things. And this comes into the power of our language, of feeling that you have to do something. And I invite us to consider, you don't have to do anything. You might feel like, well, I have to go to school, I have to go to work. If you don't have to do any of those things, maybe there'll be some consequences that you don't really want to have. Maybe you'll get fired, or maybe you'll start slacking off in school. But remembering that you still have a choice, and you don't have to do anything. In fact, you get to do it. If we chose to go back to school, or if we chose to have a certain job because we want to have the money, because we want to have the life, it's all a choice that we chose to do. And sometimes there are little choices we forget that we make when we make a big choice. So sometimes when we sign up for a big project, in that moment of signing up for a project, or signing up, say, to go back to school, or you're choosing to do all of the things that come after that, all of the tests, all of the things that are going to be required. It's not just in that moment of like, I have this test, I have this thing tomorrow. Remembering back to that moment when you chose to do that thing, that was making a powerful choice of your own free will. No one is forcing you to do anything. And I know there's a lot of situations and circumstances in life that can feel like are beyond our control, that we're not choosing, and I didn't have to choose that. And so this breaks it down even further. The most powerful form of choice is when there's not an A or a B, when it's your car breaking down on the freeway. Choose life exactly the way that it is, not choosing this or that, but actually choosing it rather than resisting what reality is, because you can resist and you can deny. But our power comes from choosing life exactly the way that it is and exactly the way that it isn't. Even if it's a circumstance of a loved one passing away or getting sick, or yourself getting sick, we can resist that, and our power comes in choosing that. It's an active acceptance. And remembering that it is a free will or free won't universe. So anything that is happening in our lives, consider that on some level of your being, of your soul, of your essence, you have agreed to experience that lesson. You've agreed to experience that conflict or that opportunity. And just playing around with that and see what that opens up for you. And little homework for this week is just to look in our lives. What areas in our lives do you feel burdened or obligated by? Is it in your work, in your home life, in your own personal creative endeavors? Looking where you feel burdened, obligated, kind of just stuck, stagnant, maybe a little bit contracting, and see if you can bring this new, fresh perspective. Again, you already know this. I'm just the messenger here to remind you that you're choosing it all, and I invite you to choose powerfully. Love you all.